Hello guys, Sarthak Pandey here from Indian VFX School, and you are watching Basic to Advanced Flip series inside of Houdini. If you like the content, make sure you subscribe and join our Facebook page. You can also head to our website and check out our courses on Houdini, Phoenix FD, Tyflow, etc. and book yourself for 7 days free demo class. Alright guys, so welcome to this part 3, and in this one we're going to see how I've made this dancing flip man. So this is a man who is dancing, where I've downloaded the animation and the file from Mixamo.com. So if you just go into Mixamo, you can just choose your character and you can just apply some animations, or you can just directly go to my website and download the project file, so you will get the character and this thing itself. Okay, alright. So in order to follow along with this tutorial, you just need to watch my first and second part. So where we have talked about, emitting flip particles from geometry, and like how we can add some velocities to it. Okay, and we are just going to use that basic setup to make something this much cool. Okay, and the big thing is like it's not really tough or anything like that, and you just need to follow just those tutorials. And so this is how I'm going to plan my series, where I'll show the like basic operations, or like let's say we talk about some stuff like velocities and everything, and then we do an application based on that. Okay, all right. So I'll just make a geometry folder over here. Okay, and I just need to import my file first. So just press tab and type agent over here. Okay, so we are going to learn about some new stuff in this tutorial. Okay, so first one is this agent thing. So agent thing, basically it's used for doing crowd stuff. So you can like also import animations and FBX file and all. Okay, so I've downloaded the file in FBX format, so make sure you download it in FBX format. It will work in other stuff also, but FBX, I think it just works very well. Okay, so right now the input is set to character rig. You can just change it to FBX. Okay, and then is this FBX file. Okay, so you can just locate where your FBX file is located. So I can just I can just go here and paste the path, and I can just bring this file. So as soon as I will click on the accept, you will see we will get this character. Okay, and by default it won't really have any animation. So what I need to do is I can just if you click on this current clip, you can just choose the Mixamo.com and you will just get the animation. All right, so once we have that, now what is the next thing? Obviously I will just convert it into points from volume, and when I'll do that, okay, so you will see there's like this there's one weird issue, and things are like not really coming properly. And even if I add a scatter node, you will see it just won't really work. Okay, like this. Okay, so what's really happening? Okay, so let me show you one issue. So if I choose my select tool, okay, and if I click on my if I want to select the points of this geometry. So once again, if you want to know about more about all this basic Houdini UI tools and everything, you can just follow along my another series that I've started. It's known as Houdini Basic SOP. So I'm talking about all the SOP level stuff and all the geometry level stuff over there. So you can see right now we are not really able to select the points of this geometry. And why is it so? Because there's a notion known as packed geometry inside Houdini. So so for the sake of speed, whenever we import any like animated geometry or FBX, it's packed. We cannot really have access to the points, and if we don't have access to the points, there will be issues. Okay, there will be a lot of issues. So first we need to unpack this geometry. So just type unpack, and now we can just unpack this geometry. And as soon as you do that, you will see now we'll have access. We will be having our access back to the point itself. So now we are having the points. Okay, that is working. All right, so now I can just put points from volume. Okay, so if I use points from volume, and if I put it over here, and I can just add a null. Okay, and in this points from volume, I'll just put it to like, let's say 0.05. Okay, and I can just copy this null path. Okay, and I go over here into my flip object. Once again, if you not in the flip object, in this volume source, and I'll just paste it. So once again, if you are having tough time following this thing, just watch my tutorials of the flip series, and that is it. You'll be good to go. Okay, so I'm having both of them, and now I can just connect my this particle separation from here, copy parameter, to over here from points from volume, and I'll just put it to paste relative references. Okay, all right, so that is it. And as you can see here, I've clicked on this. So there's an option for volume limits, and if you just visualize, if I just turn this visualize limits off, I won't be able to see the box. So if you see, I'm having this much big box, okay, and it's set to closed boundaries, okay, and you can just hide this box anytime you want, okay, by clicking on this, okay. So we have this thing. All right, so now if I just start the simulation, you will see we will have something like this, and I'll just let it simulate, and I will just forward the video. All right, so as you can see, right now we are simming it on really high resolution, and there's an issue. So you can see right away, like a geometry, it's like it's instancing particles on every frame, and obviously that what it's do. But the thing is, we are not really having any splashiness from our liquid. And why is it so? Because let's say in reality, if you are having let's say if you're a firefighter and if you have a big pipe, and okay, so if you have a big pipe of liquid and if you throw liquid out of it, so it will go in a straight way, and if you start wobbling it around, obviously it's going to follow the motion of your hand, but that's not really happening over here. So why it's not happening? Because we haven't instanced the velocities. So that's why, if you haven't seen the velocity chapter, that was the last chapter, you need to go and check it out. So we need to have velocities, because right now our velocities are not they are not calculated. So there are no velocities which are being transferred to these points. So if I come over here and if I see into this null, so you can see they are just position, they are just points position, and that is it. There are no velocities which are being transferred. So we need to calculate the velocity. All right, so let me show you. So if I add a point velocity over here, okay, so if I add a point velocity over here, so by default it's set to compute from deformation, and this will just work right away. But there will be an issue. So you will see our velocities, they will just go haywire, and obviously if I obviously it's working, but it's not working in really a good way. And if I click the simulation, you will see it will just mess everything up. Okay, so let me tell you, if you want to calculate the velocities, never calculate it after having this points from volume and everything. You need to calculate it from your geometry level itself. So if I put my point from velocity over here, and if I click it now, you will see we will be having really good approximation of our velocities. Okay, so yeah, so it's working over here, and you might be thinking, yeah, that's it, we have got it. And let's say if I go back and if I do the simulation, and you will see again it won't work. So why it's not working? Okay, so the best way to debug these things is so we can clearly see that our velocities are not instancing. And why it's not instancing? So the culprit will be our null, and let's see if velocities are even being transferred. And if I click on this I button, you will see that there are just no velocities. And why is it so? Okay, so if I click on this point velocity, and if I click on this I, so you can see, okay, so here it's working, velocities are there over here. Okay, so if I see, so if I click on this again, okay, so velocities are there. But when we go from here to here into this points from volume, our velocities, they are just going, because points from volume, again, it's like a subnet of lot of things which are going on, and it doesn't really care about what is above this. Okay, it will just care about the positions, the position, like whatever the geometry is, it will just instance like points over it, but it doesn't really care about the velocities, and it will just erase everything. So that is one that's one bummer, and I don't really think it should be that way. There should be some smart way for the velocities to just get transferred over here. And I mean, I'm sure it can be done, but that's it, it cannot be done as of now. So I have two options: either I follow how Houdini works, or I make my own software. So I will go for the first one. Okay, all right, so what we need to do over here is we need to transfer the velocities from point velocity to points from volume. And how can I do that? Okay, so that is where our attribute transfer comes into play. So there is this node, and this node is going to save your life almost all the times when you're doing the simulation. So this thing is made for this purpose. Whenever there is there's no way you can transfer the velocities, this guy will come very handy. Okay, all right, it's not just about velocities. So many times we want to transfer attributes and everything, and we can just use it. Okay, so the first input is geometry to transfer attributes to. So where do we want to transfer the attributes? Okay, so we want to transfer the attributes to the points from volume. Okay, and obviously we cannot connect it like this. Okay, we can also, so this is the input and this is the output. So the input cannot be connected in the input. So if we want to transfer it to the points from volume, we need to connect the input from here. to here. So we want to connect the input to here, and you will see obviously nothing is working because the second input which says geometry to transfer attributes from. So from where do we want to transfer the attribute? Okay, so we want to transfer the attributes from our point velocity. Okay, and if I click on this, you will see right away we will get this this thing. Okay, so if we see over here only the geometry, those points, like only the faces are calculating the velocities. But if I click over here, so now even all of our points, they are having the velocities. So all the velocities which are being calculated over here, they are being transferred to the points from volume. And our new, so now we won't be using these points from volume. Okay, so now our new points from volume is this guy. Okay, so it's a little bit confusing, but you'll just get used to it. Okay, and now we don't really need to connect this null to this points from volume. We will connect it to the attribute transfer itself. Okay, and that is it. Now is the moment of truth, and let's see if it works. And obviously it will work, because why won't it? Okay, and if I play it, you will see now we are going to have the velocities also in our simulation. Okay, so that is it, and that's it. That's how easy it is to make a dancing flip man or whatever it is. And let's say for some reasons, if you want the velocity to be less, okay, so how we can do that? So let's say if you're feeling that there's just too much of liquid which is being flown around, okay, so we can just add a quick expression on our SOP level. Okay, so right now you can see we are having this velocity. Okay, and if I click over here, so we are having this velocity, you can see. So these vectors are, these vectors are the ones which are showing like how high our velocities are. Okay, how high are they? Okay, so what we can do is like I can just add a quick expression. So I will just write AW, that means attribute wrangle. Okay, I will connect it over here, and let's say if I type @v equal to 0 and semicolon, so you will see our velocities now they are set to 0. And let's say if I put 5, so once again, so if you want to know about this thing, just watch my second tutorial. And let's say if I put it to 5, so all of them will be set in this specific direction. Okay, and if I run the simulation now, they are going to go into this direction, and we don't really need that. So let's say if I just write @v is equal to @v, so it's just going to take the previous velocities, and that's it. Okay, fine. But let's say if I write @v is equal to @v, so I'm saying, okay, so whatever the velocities are, just take those velocities and multiply it by 2. So now they're going to just, they will just double. And let's say if I say multiply it by 20, so they will get even more. Okay, and what will happen is, so if I just run the simulation, and you will see what's going to happen. So there will be, so let me see. Okay, so you will see like it will just splash everything right away. Okay, so obviously we don't want to increase it. So what we want is, we want it to decrease. So I can multiply it by, so if you have failed in maths like me, so you need to remember this. If you want a number to be smaller than itself, you need to multiply it by any number which is smaller than 1. So if I multiply 5 by 5, it's 25. If I multiply it by 2, it's 10. If I multiply it by 1, it will be the same. Okay, it will be 5. And let's say if I multiply it by anything which is less than 1, so let's say 0.9, so it's going to be 0.45. Okay, so let's say if I multiply @v is equal to @v multiplied by 0.5, so you will see what's going to happen. And okay, so let me just show you visually. So I will just hide other objects. Okay, and I'll just click on this. Okay, and you will see. Okay, so if I remove this 0.5, okay, so these are our vectors, and let's say if I multiply it by 0.1, let's say if I multiply it by 0.1, you will see they'll just go so small. Okay, now I can just show all objects, and I can just run the simulation, and let's see how it's looking. Okay, so it's going to be very less. So again, I can just multiply it by 0.5. So once again, so whatever velocities are being computed over here, they are just being sent into a flip solver, and that is it. That's it. That's what's really happening over. So you can just control everything from here. Okay, and you can just change it however you want. And my final simulation resolution was 0.1, and you can just set it to 0.1 and just have fun. Okay, all right, so that is it for this part. And in the next part, we are going to talk about collisions, and after that we are going to make a reverse simulation or something like that, because as I said, we will study about the basics, and then we are going to have a tutorial based on the application of that basics. All right, thank you, and we will meet in the next part.